There we go. All right. Just wanted to be sure we have a good picture. Great. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me this day on uh, this lovely day. We are going to be getting back into the book of Proverbs together. I am so glad you joined me today. We are still reading through, was thinking about how sometimes you have to have a little bit of perseverance when you have a journey to take, path going through this passage of scripture, 31 chapters, but it's just one step a day. It's good. One step a day. It is not too hard for us. It is such a great way to just get a good nibble into the word on a regular, like a regular schedule there, a little regular pattern. So I am grateful to be here, and I am looking forward to hearing your comments as we get into the book of Proverbs today, chapter 19. Looking forward to you commenting and sharing your ideas and your insights. I'm going to just be reading and just sharing insights as they come to me, and um, insight, but also, application. Like the insight is for application, how to make that word lively in our lives, how to bring it into our decisions, into our thoughts, into our emotions, our relationships. So that's the internal relationship, external relationships. And so it's really, there's a lot to be gleaned. So I'm gonna point the camera down for part of the reading, and then I'll point it up, so we can talk. Okay. So I'm gonna because of the way my Bible is set up, I'm gonna just read these first few verses and then turn the page, and then we'll let the camera come and face down. Okay. All right. We're in Proverbs 19. Um, better is the poor. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Wow. That is a mouthful right there. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity. Okay, so you have the poor man walking in integrity, than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. So poor and with integrity, or perverse and a fool. My. It definitely helps you to, it kind of brings to mind when it really brings a lot of things to mind, thinking about how our, in American society, celebrities, popular artists, singers, actors, um, are not often found on the side of integrity. Let's just say that. And there's always this um, desire in people. Oh, I want to be like that celebrity. Oh, I admire them. Oh, because you see them in a movie you like. You hear songs that you like, raps that they produce. Oh, I love it. I love what they're producing. So I really want to be like them. I want to look like them. I want to pursue them in some way. But there's this little caveat here about thinking about the people that you want to be emulating, right? It says again, right? These people sing, dance, whatever they do, perform, they entertain us, they play sports. We admire their skills, but their character is different than their skills, their wisdom and versus their folly. That's different than their skills, right? That doesn't. They're not necessarily one and the same. Uh, but are we evaluating that? Let's evaluate that. Let me just say that. Verse 2. Let's move on. Also, okay, this also, but it's the first word of the sentence. So it wasn't a new sentence. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that wastes, pardon me, he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. It is important to be a learner. Let's go ahead and turn that camera face down here. That for the soul to be without knowledge is not good. It's not good. So it is good to learn. Okay, we're gonna see we can flip our camera down and you can read along with me. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let's get a little bit better. There we go. I think that's good. How is that? Oh, we've got quite a glare. Hadn't had that as a problem before. Let's see. There we go. All right. The foolishness of man perverted his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Our foolishness, when he perverteth his way, that doesn't necessarily mean like a sexually perverted, but to be twisted. Something is not in the way it should be. It is going against its proper direction. So the foolishness of man perverteth his way, twists his way. His path is not going straight, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Foolishness causes us to fret against the Lord. Our hearts um, are anxious and accusatory. Like when you're fretting, you're trying to find who's wrong here, who did this. So foolishness and fretfulness are companions. Verse 4, wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. Mm. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. These are a statement of what happens. Not that that's good. It's just showing you the ways of men's hearts, the ways of our uh, the ways of our hearts, how men are, how we are. He that getteth wisdom, verse 8, loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. Verse 11, the discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. I've circled that one and highlighted and everything from time past. That is a very seems to be a lost art, the art of discretion. Discretion being the ability to know what to say, when to say. The ability to think ahead of how are my actions going to affect the given situation. Discretion, the ability to discern. If I add this, is this going to help? If I hold my peace, will that be better? discretion, that it defers anger. That means it causes anger to be deflected. So, understanding the situation you're in, what should my contribution be? Should I say something? Should I hold my peace? It will defer anger. This is a definitely this is a relational piece of wisdom, dealing with how we deal with others, dealing with our husbands, our children, strangers. Many times, altercations could be uh, diffused if a little discretion had been at play. Verse 12: The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. And that is, again, relational wisdom. How the foolish son, and we can put daughter, but the child, that would be a calamity for a father. That would be a devastation, right? And the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping, like that pitter patter of the rain, that constant drip of that one piece of the one part of the gutter where it just drips down, or that one faucet continually dropping. Very unpleasant, very annoying. Let's not be that, have those contentions. It does not bring a solution all the time. I'm sure there's some witnesses on that frustration can be caused by that. Verse 15. There we go. Let's straighten that up a little bit. Slothfulness cast, pardon me, I'm going to read that again. Verse 15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Very much the life lessons of childhood and teenagehood. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. Mm, the power of the commandment of the Lord. That is like you're doing yourself a favor, right? I think that's kind of what that says. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul. You are doing yourself a favor by engaging and holding on to the word of the Lord. You're doing yourself a favor. Verse 17, he that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he repay him again. That is an open invitation to generosity. That's an invitation to generosity, that you are not losing that which you give, you are lending it to the Lord. And certainly the Lord will repay. He will repay. Verse 20, pardon me, verse 18. Sorry about that. Hasten, chasten thy son while there is hope. Mm. Let not thy soul spare for his crying. Ah, mothers, this one is for us, isn't it? Ooh. It seems, because we're being often the primary caregiver, we are the ones that are often tormented, seems, with the cries of the little ones. But it is this one is this verse is a what I want to say is kind of like a piece of armor for our hearts. That it is not a torment to them when we chasten them. It is a help, and for us to kind of guard our hearts, toughen our hearts up just a little bit, so that our hearts are not moved by their crying, because they can turn on the waterworks. I mean, just remembering our own, childhood days, we can remember some moments where, we may have hammed it up a little bit to kind of try to wheedle out of some punishment, or We tried it, may have worked, may not, but it's the nature of humans to try to avoid that discomfort. So it's part of the package. But to chasten thy son while there is hope. That is encouraging, but and it is also a little daunting because my dears, there's a moment where there may not be hope for we are chastening to actually benefit the child. It is um, worth worth holding in our hearts, as Mary did. She took these things and held them in her heart. Chasten thy son while there is hope. Don't spare for his crying. Those tears will dry up. That balled up face will pass, but they must receive that chastening. What is chastening? Discipline, correction, um, uh, uh, restriction. Right? You can't do everything you want to do. It's a no answer. You can't have everything you want to have. You can't have your way. You fill in the blanks in your home of what that means. But be encouraged. You are doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You are on the right track. Do it because it is the Lord's plan for us to direct and to discipline and get them back on track. Talking to my littlest daughter the other day about that I am, she's at that age, she's old enough to kind of understand but not appreciate the correction. So I'm just explaining to her, this is me doing you a favor. I am not here to harm you. I'm not trying to make you mad for the sake of making you mad, right? The those tears. I'm not here to just make you cry or sad just for the sake of it. That's just your response. But what I'm doing is the Lord's work. I'm doing what He's asked me to do. Get you back on track. Get them back on track. Let's go. All right, moving on, moving on, moving on. You got it. You got it. You got it. We are at verse 18. That was, chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crime. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment. For if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. Okay, all right. Verse 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. That's so good. It's kind of funny. It's almost like the response to the child to verse 18. Like, this is what's happening. And child, if you will hear this counsel and receive instruction, you may be wise in your latter end. You'll be wise in your latter end if you receive what I'm saying. Let's get a little bit closer here. Oh, here we go. Sorry. That is I don't know, that's just that's just kind of a, I don't know, a little humorous to me. But that is a quite like a direct command. Hear that counsel and receive instruction. All right, verse 21. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. Hmm, that is a reminder. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. Mm. Well, as the kids would say, bars. Wow. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. Like we learned over there in verse 1 about the poor and his integrity. It's better than the perverse. Verse 23, the fear of the Lord tendeth to life. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. What a great prayer. What a great confession to confess our faith, right? That's a great declaration. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. Does not say that, troubles or hardships may not come, but evil will not visit the one who fears the Lord. Verse 24, a slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. That is really slothful. That a table full of food and he won't even put his hand to his mouth to feed himself. That is the epitome of sloth. My goodness, what a warning. Verse 25, smite a scorner, and the simple will beware. Let's go up here. And reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. A scorner is a person who thinks they know better than their authorities. A scorner, kind of, you think of that turned up lip. You don't know what you're talking about. The scorner. It says, "Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware." Don't let a scornful attitude take over our hearts, but also like among the children that we have or that we deal with. That scorning spirit, it begins to turn the ones that are watching, the onlookers, the kids, like, oh my goodness, they got away with that. Oh wow, they said that. It is the that again, that's relational application there. Smite a scorner. Do not allow them to get away unaddressed. Verse 26, he that wasteth his father and chaseth away his mother is a son that causeth shame and bringeth reproach. My. Verse 27, cease my son to hear cease my son to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. Wow. I circled that a long time ago. And I, as I'm reading it right now, that is a very that's just such a strong warning. I'm just, cease, my son. What an instruction for us to pass to our children. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err. How much? Oh boy, is it? I'm thinking about so many the influences. Think about the influences of friends, the influences of media, the influences of music, the influences of um, even books, influences of those that that are in our children's lives, just influences, like it just that influences instruction, right? Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. Straightforward, very straightforward. An ungodly witness, verse 28, two more verses here. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment. Remember, the scorner is the one who thinks that they know better and that I don't have to listen to you. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, rejecting it, right? And the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. The mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Last verse, judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. Judgments are prepared. for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. So we are warned yet again in how we respond to wisdom. How are we going to respond to the wisdom that we're hearing? Having a little the camera. Let's be encouraged that we have been that we've got this knowledge here. That this sometimes it's like, oh, this stuff seems like such harsh terms and but but being warned about these things and finding, even if we find ourselves on kind of the fool part of the equation or the dichotomy, there's hope. There's hope. There's repentance. There is newfound wisdom in the book, that even if you may be on the wrong side of that equation, you can rectify that. You can repent. You can ask for forgiveness, and you can ask for direction, and you can see what the application is in the scriptures that will help you get off the fool side or the scorner side or the ungodly side or the perverse side. You can come to the side of wisdom. Our children can come to the side of wisdom. They must, they will. I tell my children all the time, when you, especially, and that may be something we could do, study the types of fools. There are different types of fools. Our children are born fools. They're born simple fools. We were born simple fools, okay? We were born as fools. Like we read there, to smite a scorner and the simple will beware. The simple are those who just are unlearned, uninitiated. They've never seen this before. They're simple. They're not maliciously foolish. They're just simple. They just are new to the scene, right? That simple fool is what every child is, and then from there they get to choose which kind of fool are they going to be, or are they going to be wise. So that's where maturity and training and all that comes in. That's where we come in, to help them. But I tell my children, you're born a fool. They kind of need to be reminded about that. Sometimes they don't remember, or they maybe, again, they are simple, so maybe they just don't know that they don't know. They don't know that they don't know, and that's our job. I mean, that it helps us to be refueled, to be reminded, to be reinvigorated through the word on our stance, our mission, our purpose. It's not just a job, but it is our purpose. And as we go forward to the day, I do pray that you will continue to press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God, that mark of holiness, that mark of wisdom. We're pressing toward that mark, and that is our journey. And I hope to see you next time.